12 will become 8 at the conclusion of this Sunday's race at the Charlotte Roval. Let's break down who's most likely to advance. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday. I hope you've had a wonderful week. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are officially 50% complete. The round of 12 wraps up this weekend at the Charlotte Roval. 4 more playoff contenders will be eliminated. Let's take a look at the points. Only William Byron and Ryan Blaney have clinched spots in the round of 12. 6 positions are still up for grabs. Another elimination race, which means it's time to once again bring out the advanceometer. Some have been pronouncing it advanceometer. No. It's advanceometer. My advanceometer, my rules. Let's begin with Denny Hamlin, who is 50 points above the cut line. Let's put him on the advanceometer. Technically, Hamlin is not locked into the next round, but he might as well be. He gets a 10 out of 10 on the advanceometer. There is virtually no chance he gets eliminated this weekend. Denny Hamlin hasn't won on a road course this season, but he did finish second recently at Watkins Glen. And he has 3 road course poles this year, going back to Sonoma, then Chicago, and recently Watkins Glen. Qualify well, get some stage points. Denny Hamlin's moving on. Let's go to his teammate Christopher Bell, who's plus 22. Christopher Bell is the defending Charlotte Roval race winner. Remember, this time last year, Christopher Bell was in a much worse point situation. He had to go out and win the Roval, had a great final restart, drove up through the field, got it done in crunch time. Christopher Bell got a top 5 the last time we raced on a road course, and he's done very well in these playoffs. 8th, 3rd, 4th, and 14th the past 4 races. If he does that, he's moving on to the next round. I'm giving Christopher Bell an 8 on the advanceometer. Don't forget that 2 of Bell's 5 Cup wins have come at road courses, the Roval, and then of course the Daytona road course. He just loves these Roval type configurations. Next, let's put Chris Buescher on the advanceometer. Chris Buescher has finished 11th or better in 10 straight road course races. That's actually ridiculous. And I showed y'all this chart a few weeks ago, but here you can see every playoff driver's average road course finish this season, excluding Chicago because that was such a weird event. Chris Buescher has an average finish of 7.5 to lead all playoff drivers. So he should effectively be a lock to make the next round, right? Well, he's only plus 19, and while he doesn't need to win this race to move on, it's worth noting Chris Buescher has only led 1 lap on a road course this season. He spent all that time in the top 5, top 10, but he's only led a single lap. That's a little surprising to me. Still, Chris Buescher gets a 9 out of 10 on the advanceometer. I would be shocked if something took him out of contention this Sunday. Next up, Martin Truex Jr., the regular season champion. Can they finally find their footing in these playoffs? I'll show you that chart again. Truex has one of the best average finishes of any playoff driver at road courses this year, 7.8. He won at Sonoma earlier this year, but man, that was a long, long time ago. I get that maybe not everyone believes in momentum. Like, it's not really a thing. It's just something that fans and commentators like to bring up when making a point. But that being said, Martin Truex Jr.'s season has come to a screeching halt in recent weeks. 0 top 15 finishes in the past 6 races. He's 17 points to the good, but even the Charlotte Roval. Remember, Truex was in position to potentially win the inaugural Roval event. Got taken out by Jimmy Johnson. He's only led 1 lap at the Roval since that incident. So he's plus 17, historically a great road racer. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give Truex a 6 on the advanceometer. Good luck to him. Next up is Kyle Larson, plus 15. Larson has won at the Roval before 2021, but you'll remember this race last year, Kyle Larson made a dumb mistake, hit the outside wall, broke a rear toe link, and took himself out of playoff contention. And while Larson's average finish at road courses is decent this season, it's worth mentioning he has not led a single lap. 0 laps led on road courses this season. That's a little surprising. Still, I'll give Kyle Larson a 6. The round of 12 has been his kryptonite in the past. Typically, it's Talladega that gives him trouble, but he actually did pretty well last week. On paper, he should do well at the Roval this weekend, but like we saw last year, Nothing is for sure. Ooh, now we get to these drivers right on the cut line or just below it. Brad Keselowski, +2. Let's pull up that road course average finish chart again. Ooh, yikes. BK's best road course finish this year came recently, 15th at Watkins Glen, but I'm afraid 15th place will not be good enough to advance. Keselowski does have one top 5 at the Roval. It was in 2019. That was a few years ago. Completely different race team, completely different type of car. I'll be honest, I don't like Brad Keselowski's chances. He's been really competitive, really solid at the intermediate ovals. Had great speed at the super speedways, which made Talladega last week even more painful. Such a missed opportunity. 2 points is not enough, especially when you look at the drivers behind him, like Tyler Reddick, arguably the best road course racer in the Cup Series right now. I give Brad Keselowski's chances a 2. I have to be honest. I've been on the Brad Keselowski hype train pretty much the entire second half of this season, but I don't like his chances at the Roval this weekend. I just mentioned him, but next is Tyler Reddick. I think of all the 4 names below the cut line right here, Reddick's got the best shot at winning this weekend. He won at COTA earlier this season. Last year, the first year at the Next Gen, he won twice at road courses. At the Roval last year, he led 21 laps, finished inside the top 10. He does that on Sunday. More than likely, that'll be enough to move on to the next round. I'm giving Tyler Reddick a 7 on the advance-o-meter. I think he has a great shot of advancing. Inexperience could catch up with him. I mean, Tyler Reddick's a 2-time Xfinity Series champion, but he's never made it this deep in the playoffs since getting to the Cup Series. Tyler Reddick historically has seemingly done pretty well under pressure, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a long race on Sunday. We saw with Kyle Larson last year. It's easy to make a silly mistake, even late, that takes yourself out of contention. So anything's possible, but I think Reddick has a great shot of advancing. Let's talk about his teammate, Bubba Wallace. It's been well documented that Bubba Wallace typically struggles at road courses, so I'm putting his advance-o-meter score at a 3. Fortunately, though, for Bubba Wallace and Bubba Wallace fans, the Roval is statistically his best road course. He was 14th in 2021, and last year he actually managed a top 10. He finished 7th here. And wasn't it like 2019 or 2020, the year he and Bowman went at it? I think he was running inside the top 10 or top 15 when Bowman spun him out. So for whatever reason, while he struggles at basically every other road course, something about the Charlotte Roval plays to Bubba Wallace's strengths. I don't get it. I don't think he advances. He's 9 points out, and all these names around him are just much better road course racers than he is. It'll take a small miracle, but I'm not going to say it's impossible. Just behind Bubba Wallace in the standings is Ross Chastain. Chastain won a race on a road course last year, Circuit of the Americas. And I went back and watched a lot of last year's Roval race. He did win a stage at the Roval last year, although it was one of those kinds of deals where he was running like 7th, 8th, or 9th, and then a bunch of the leaders pit right before the end of the stage. So Chastain kind of just took the free stage win. So I wouldn't say he was like really one of the best drivers or cars in this race a year ago. I actually looked at his numbers, and I know he's driven for a lot of not so great teams historically, but Ross Chastain doesn't even have a top 20 at the Roval. He's only made one start here in Trackhouse equipment, so that data is a bit misleading. Still, I don't think Chastain has a great shot at advancing. 10 points out. You got to pass someone like Tyler Reddick, who's a really, really good road racer. Kyle Larson, really, really good road racer. I put Ross Chastain's advance-o-meter chances at a 4. He, like Bubba, needs to root for some chaos. Maybe someone's controller disconnects heading into turn 1 once again. Lastly, and this guy is for sure rooting for some chaos. He just hopes he's not a part of it for a change. Lastly is Kyle Busch, -26. Kyle Busch has had some really good road races this year. He's got a runner-up at COTA, a runner-up at Sonoma. He's got to earn stage points on Sunday. Fortunately, Kyle Busch has qualified really well at road courses this year. He started top 12 at every road course minus Chicago this season. Great chance for him to earn stage points in the opening stint. Specifically looking at the Roval, Kyle Busch has 2 straight top 5s at this track. So he's 26 points out, nearly must-win territory, but maybe things are actually lining up to go Kyle Busch's way for a change, because these playoffs, more or less, have been a grind, to say the least. The first 2 races of the playoffs, Darlington and Kansas, he had issues in practice, had to start at the rear, still salvaged pretty good finishes in both races, but they had to grind. Bristol, he had a bad car, finished a lap down in 20th. Texas, whether it was handling issues or a tire going down or a loose wheel, whatever, crashed out. Talladega, he's racing for the stage win, gets caught up in that weird incident with Stenhouse and Ross Chastain. Bad day there. These playoffs have not been comfortable for Kyle Busch, but he's still very much in contention. I'm going to put his advance-o-meter at a 3 because 26 points is a lot to overcome. But if you qualify well, win a stage, get 15, 18 stage points, finish inside the top 5, a couple guys, the right guys, wreck behind you, Kyle Busch isn't out of this. Last year, Christopher Bell, in the clutch, must win, came through in this very same event. Kyle Busch just needs to drive every lap, starting on lap 1, like his car is killed. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever Kyle Busch gets damaged or gets caught up in an early incident, it's like he just drives harder, goes faster the rest of the way. Nothing is scarier than a motivated Kyle Busch. I don't know what they need to do. Maybe get their teammate Austin Dillon to run into him during the pace laps, dent up his car a little bit, ruffle his feathers, get Kyle Busch angry. I think this weekend you need an angry Kyle Busch behind the wheel. An angry Kyle Busch could advance to the round of 8. I'm not counting him out. He just has a long way to go. But there you have it. Another look at the points going into Charlotte. Again, my pick, I do think Kyle Busch will be eliminated. That is a large deficit to overcome. Ross Chastain's probably out. Bubba, best road course for him, but it's still a road course. He'll be out. I do think Tyler Reddick will leapfrog Brad Keselowski, though. I think that's the safest pick looking at this chart. But this is why we run the race. NASCAR is maybe the most unpredictable motorsport in the world. We'll see how my predictions hold up here in just a couple of days. But thank you all so much for watching. Leave your takes down in the comment section below. Which 4 drivers do you believe get eliminated after the Charlotte Roval this Sunday? Let me know what you're thinking. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you love all things NASCAR. We talk NASCAR every single day. And as always, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for your very generous support of the channel. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday, folks. I will see you later this weekend. The round of 12 comes to an end on Sunday. Take care, y'all.